My name is Victoria White, and I've been using structured water for 8 years. My husband Tim and I live in the Sonoran Desert outside of Tucson, Arizona. When we first moved out here, all you could see were Troya cactus and mesquite trees. So it was pretty much desolate. You could see the ground, just a parched brown earth and some cactus. We found out about Natural Action Technologies and structured water through a neighbor friend of ours in Colorado where we used to live. And I called him, talked to him, immediately bought the house unit. And we've been very happy ever since. I had no idea what it would bring us. I knew that it was good, but what I've come to see in our experience using structured water over the past 8 years, I feel so blessed that we have this in our lives. We live on 4.5 acres, and we have surrounded our property with a water line that goes all around it so that we can provide structured water wherever we want to, anywhere that we have plants. We've got a fruit and nut tree orchard, which we're standing in right now, 50 approximate trees, everything from apples, peaches, pomegranates, persimmons, apricots. They were very small 8 years ago. They were about the size of broomsticks. Now our trees are producing thousands of pieces of fruit every year. We have an apricot tree that we planted from bare root, just small little trunk. It now has a base on it about that big. You would never guess that it's only 8 years old. And it has produced 10,000 pieces of fruit in a single season, just prolific. I can't even believe it. And here we are in the Sonoran Desert. Also, our vegetables we're able to grow year-round here in Tucson, and we see very thick, healthy, dense growth, very green, and these are all indications of healthy plants that can withstand pests. But one of the best things about them is to eat fruit that was grown with structured water is like having fruit when you were a kid, or the taste that you might have forgotten. You get the full flavor of what it is that you're growing with structured water. So the awareness of having locally grown produce and organic produce is becoming very prevalent. And if you think about it, water is just as important as food. Water we need to grow our food. Our body is mainly made up of water. So we need water to be able to be the delivery system of the nutrients of the food that we eat into the cell. So we should think of it in the same way that we do with food, that we want the highest quality water we can get, not only to grow our food, but to feed our bodies at the cellular level. And that's what structured water does.
My name's Tim White, and I'm Victoria's husband, and this is our structured water pool. We've had it for about 3.5 years now, and I love going in my pool. Structured water is an amazing feeling on your skin and on your body. When I get in the pool, my pool is my sanctuary. I feel energized, I feel alive, and another nice thing about it is we don't have to use chemicals. We don't have to use but maybe one hockey puck size tablet of chlorine every 3 weeks. And that structured water actually allows the chlorine to do what it's supposed to do, but it negates the harmful aspects of chlorine. We have a jacuzzi as well that I don't use any chemicals in, which is really quite amazing. I only change the water in my jacuzzi once every few months, even though I use it every day. The water stays extremely clean and clear because it's structured. We have a unit on the jacuzzi.
I would recommend structured water to a gardener for sure. We just feel so blessed to have structured water in our lives and to have been turned on to this. And I would love to share our enthusiasm with whoever is watching this video that it is something that has changed our lives, and it can change your lives too. Your life will thank you. Your body will thank you. And plants love structured water.
Blue Star Farm is a diversified vegetable farm with certified naturally grown certification. And that means that we follow all of the USDA organic standards. We farm on about 5.5 acres, and we use two 30 by 96 high tunnel greenhouses that allow us to grow through the winter and extend our seasons for the full year in the northeast winters. We pride ourselves on growing a large variety of high quality produce, and we have the reputation for that. We are always very concerned about how we manage our soils, and we do soil tests usually twice a year in our greenhouses and once a year in the field. Water plays a significant role in growing anything, and certainly water and soil are the main building blocks in growing any healthy produce. Both soil and water also have a great degree of variability in them, and the objective is to have the highest quality of soil and water for growing really healthy plants. We have implemented the natural action technology units in our transplant house. I think the structured water allows our plants to uptake nutrients more easily and maybe more quicker. Just seeing the results of the growth in 6 weeks on our onion seedlings led me to believe that the nutrients that were there in the soil were taken up into the plant much quicker, and they were able to see faster growth as a result. I researched doing filters and a filtration system for our greenhouse to improve the quality of our water. And a filtration system is very costly, it's very labor intensive, and I don't think that it would be a really good management situation. Also, for the volume of water that we use, it's an expensive process to put in for that kind of a volume of water. The natural action units are very simple, there's no maintenance involved, and there's no overseeing a lot of different filters for the whole situation. I would definitely recommend natural action units to other farmers. I think that any kind of unit like that gives you an edge to a healthier plant that has more nutrients, that's more nutrient dense, that's an edge a farmer needs.
What we're attempting to do is grow a high nutrient value produce. Without going into too much detail, we use a refractometer to measure the nutrient density of our produce. And our objective is not to grow so much high volume produce as you can see we have here, but to make sure that each piece of produce that we have is full of nutrition. When I started this project, which has been 9 years ago, I started in the water end of the business, and I started working with structured water clear back, in the year 2000. And after I'd figured out how to structure water, the next question came was how do we build the soil? The water will carry the nutrient to the soil, but what's our base for soil? And from one coast to the other, I looked for the answer, and finally I came up with the equation that said it doesn't matter how green, tall, and bushy a plant is. What matters is the nutrient density of the plant, and you can measure that with an instrument called a refractometer, and it gives a reading called BRIX, B-R-I-X. Started testing the produce that I'd been buying at high retail prices, all organic produce.
Right.
High prices. I was depressed for 30 days because they were all low nutrient density. I got low readings on the refractometer.
So they looked pretty.
Looked great.
Everything was great. They were priced high, as though you would expect for something that had those good looks, but you also assume has the nutrient value.
Right.
But the really most important aspect of it was missing.
Right. That being the nutrient density. So the long road started, and through several iterations, this is where we've ended up. You can see we have a tremendous amount of tomatoes set here. The really good news is I've only had 3 of them turn red so far, and one of them bricked out at 12.2.
We are calibrated.
This is Joe Johnson. He's a microbiologist for ABC Organics, located in Port Hueneme, California. And in his hand is a refractometer with which he will measure the nutrient density of strawberries.
What we got? Oh yeah, that's a 10.
Looking on is Jeffrey Riggins, photonic water applications specialist.
We didn't find any 10s the whole time we were on that side.
No. So, would you just summarize the situation?
This is a field that was picked this morning, and the berries you're seeing are second choice. That means they weren't either big enough or red enough for them to consider picking them and putting them in a basket and shipping them off. And the nutrient quality on these berries is running about 20% over the ones on that side that have had a couple of weeks to grow and be free of picking. So the leftovers from this field, which has been documented to be of poor quality, are 20% better than anything we found on the other side.
The documentation on the quality, meaning as far as the soil?
As far as the sugars in the plant go.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
These berries here are showing to have a higher nutrient value by about 20% than the berries on that side, which haven't been picked in over a week.
And what's the difference? Have these been watered with structured water, or?
Yeah, these ones have been. This is a plot that's been separated and only watered with structured water once. So, in the one time it was watered with structured water, this field has jumped by 20%, which is a poor field above the areas next to it, which have better soil.
And this has been over what, a 2-day time span?
It's a 2-day time span.
We're talking 48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours. Water falls from the sky. It interacts with the oxygen, of course, in the air, and the oxygen gets hit by the rays of the sun and collects a lot of energy, a lot of positive energy, which is the difference between the positive energy in the atmosphere and the negative charge of the earth. Is what causes lightning. Right. And so what I'm seeing is just that as the water is falling through the sky, it picks up those positive charges and brings them into the earth, and that's why your vegetables grow like crazy when you're done. And so it seems to me like this photonic unit is actually mimicking that natural process, and the results are pretty evident to me.